Hi, and welcome back to the Ziggy Zone. We're going to discuss my take on what would happen if the NBA playoffs started today. So, we're going to start in the East, and then we're going to work our way to the best. Anyway, y'all know how I do. So, the Atlanta Hawks would play the Boston Celtics. And in the last 10 games, Atlanta has really slipped off. They're currently 5-5 in their last 10, while Boston is a 6-4. And so the Boston team, they've had a lot of traffic this season. And I'm guessing that Atlanta is quite tired. I would say that Atlanta would win their round, and that will probably go by maybe 6 games, just because I think those guys have played really hard and a lot this season. The next game will be the 2 and 7 seed, which is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Miami Heat. And we know that obviously LeBron was with Miami the last 4 seasons prior to this one, and all 4 of those seasons they have gone to the playoffs and winning 2 championships in that run. So you talk about playing his former teammates, former coach. There are a couple guys from Miami in Cleveland with LeBron. Mike Miller, I think that's his name, or Mike something, and then that other guy whose name escapes me. But I think it would be really interesting to see, what will happen. I know Cleveland right now, there is some, a little bit of strife going on up there as far as, who's really fitting in. And they have Kevin Love, who's sort of on the outskirts, and, Kyrie Irving is having a really phenomenal season. And then LeBron James is just LeBron James. So I actually think that this is a series that everyone should want to watch. It's one that I'm going to watch. Just because I think of the drama that will ensue. And I say that this series will go 6 or 7 games. And honestly, I can't say that Cleveland will win it. The Heat, those guys down there, they might say, hey, and because they got Dragic too. So it's not like the Heat are scrubs now. They've upped their ranks. And like I said, they made it to 7th and nothing is, in stone yet. So there's still definitely room for the Heat to climb the ranks. But if they were to play Cleveland today or starting tomorrow, that series would go, I predict, going to 6 or 7 games, and there's no clear winner because it can literally go either way, which makes that game or that series so fun to watch. And then we have the Bulls and the Bucks, and surprisingly the Bulls did not fall off as much as I thought they would after Derrick Rose went down. He is injured again. I think it's a leg thing. He might want to take the route of Brandon Roy and just call it quits. One needs their legs to play basketball because basketball is 70% running, 80% running. You're running. There's other stuff you need to do with basketball, but clearly running is probably the most important part of it. So I'm not sure what that Derrick Rose situation is like or the Tom Thibodeau situation is like. However, the Bulls, they're solid. They're in 3rd, I think, right now. And they will play the Milwaukee Bucks. And surprisingly, the Bucks are doing really well. Jason Kidd has a good team up there, a whole bunch of young guys. It's a weird team. I watched the Bucks yesterday because they played the Warriors. And those guys, they have a 10-foot wingspan. Those guys in Milwaukee are long. Long. You look at them and you're like, dude, your fingertips go past your knees. How freaking tall are you? How long are your limbs? So, I can actually see an upset for Chicago. I think because Chicago, they're suffering with multiple injuries, and I guess because the East is just such a bad conference in general that it's not really hard to, I guess it really wasn't too much for them to not fall just because, if they lose, then other teams are losing too. But nevertheless, I really think that Milwaukee will pose a big problem for Chicago. Um, and I mean, Chicago on paper is the better team, but Jason Kidd is an amazing coach. You know, he was a player coach for like the last 3, 4, or 5 years of his career, and to have a young crew that's really hungry. Not to mention that they have, you know, a shooter in Jared Dudley and Jared Bayless, and it's that other guy, OJ Mayo. I mean, so they have a pretty decent squad up there that I think could really pull the upset. You know, it can go 5, it can go 6, and it can go 5 or 6 on either side. So this isn't a clear indication of who would win, because it's literally a toss-up. And then the Raptors and the Wizards are rounding out the 4th and 5th spot. The Raptors are the Raptors. And the Wizards are in DC. I have nothing to say. I think the 4th and the 5th spot are, you know, they're really toss-ups in any division just because they're obviously neck and neck. I want to say that Washington has a better team, and I would like to see John Wall win. So I think that they will definitely go the stretch as well, you know, 6, 7 games, because I think those teams are very much on the same playing field. But I would give the edge over to the Wizards. That's what we say. The East, Atlanta, can't pick from the Cavs or the Heat, can't pick from the Bulls or the Bucks. And I would give the Wizards over the Raptors. So we're going to transition and we're going to move west to the Warriors. Woo-hoo. They just won, or they just knelt down being the number 1 seed in the West. I think that they are officially like 10 games ahead of Memphis. They secured the Pacific Division title last week as well. A few more games and they may just take the best record in the entire NBA. I'm super excited for those guys. Such a great team, such a deep bench, like just a really round and versatile team that I'm super excited about. And they play the Thunder. They're playing a Kevin Durant-less Thunder, which I don't think the Warriors have seen Kevin Durant all season. Because I want to say when they were in Oklahoma City, Kevin was out, and I'm not sure when they came here earlier this year if Kevin was there. Either way it goes, not saying that the Warriors couldn't be a team with Kevin Durant. I'm just glad that they don't have Kevin Durant because it makes that so much easier as far as whooping up on Oklahoma City. I know Russell Westbrook is balling, but in the playoffs, like one person can't carry a team. And Serge Ibaka, I think, is out. Like he had season-ending surgery a couple months ago. So, I mean, it's good that Oklahoma City, they're in the playoffs. But that's all they're going to do is be in the playoffs. And that's only if they maintain their position because the Pelicans are not too far. So yeah, but I'm super excited about that. And then the Grizzlies would be set to take on the Mavericks. And I actually like Dallas better than Memphis. Like I really want Memphis to win. They have a lot of promise. But I think as far as a team and who's on the bench, I think Dallas is better. They have a lot more pieces. And so I would say that would definitely be a good round. I feel inclined to lean towards Dallas. I mean, you have to think about the West. I mean, at this point, it's just more competition. It's really tight in there. So even though Dallas is at 7, like at these last 2 weeks, because the season's over on the 15th, so these last 2 weeks, like there could potentially be a lot of movement in the West as far as, because it's so close. So I'm inclined to go with Dallas over Memphis, although I would like to see Memphis advance as well, because last year they were bumped out of the first round. In the 3 and the 6 spot is the Rockets and the Spurs. Texas on Texas. That's a good one. That's a good one. James Harden. I think Dwight Howard's back. A couple other guys. A couple other guys taking on Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili. And so, if you ask me, I would say that Greg Popovich is like the wizard. Like, he is like he's like my favorite current NBA coach, who's still coaching. He knows how to work those guys. Yes, they're in 6th seed, but the Spurs just actually need to get into the playoffs, and the rest will sort of work itself out. I don't know, though. I don't know. I can't say 100% that they would beat the Rockets. I think that if Dwight Howard is back and if Dwight Howard is healthy, and Beverly, I think Beverly just got injured. I'm not sure if Beverly will come back. If Beverly is playing, San Antonio's going to have a problem. So, toss up, that one's definitely going the stretch 6 or 7. And then the Trailblazers and the Clippers. That would be a good one. And I wouldn't know what to tell you. I mean, Damian Lillard or Chris Paul. It's like, LaMarcus Aldridge or Blake Griffin. One of those Lopez brothers or DeAndre Jordan. It's too much to choose from. I know that Portland, they beefed up their bench at the end of the deadline, at the end of the trade deadline. So I don't know. That one's going 6 or 7 games too. That's going to be really tough. The Clippers, they've really been in that 4th and 5th spot a lot for the last 2-3 years. So last year they played the Warriors and won, but whatever. We're not talking about last year. So I don't know. I have no idea. It's going to be close. I think in the West, with the exception of the Warriors and the Thunder, there's no clear winner for the other 3 series. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited to see what will transpire in 2 weeks from now. Well, 2.5 weeks from now, technically. But the playoffs on paper right now, as of today, looks very exciting. And I, for one, will be trying to watch as many playoff games as possible. I recommend and encourage that you do the same. And we'll definitely keep you updated as far as what's happening. When we get, once the end of the season comes, we'll definitely discuss what the real picture is. This was just if the playoffs started today. And so I will see you guys next week. Ciao.